Hey everyone, this is Teresa Leung from Point B Investment. Today I'm going to talk about my story of how I got started in real estate investing. And I'm hoping that my story, it's not to impress you, but really to impress upon you or to inspire you to get started if you have not started investing yet. Because really it's not as fearful as you think it may be, and it's not as hard as you think it is, and it's not as expensive as you think it may be. So to get started, I started learning about real estate investing about 5 years ago, and at that time I was working full-time, 40 hours a week, and I also had a side business. So each day I would say I was working about 12 to 15 hour days, and between my side business and my job, working every day like that, at least 6 days a week, after 2 years, I got exhausted. I was tired, I was burnt out, and I was a little bit angry as well, because even though I was working all those hours, I was still living paycheck to paycheck. And being a single mom, I really wanted to get ahead in life. I wanted better for my girls and to be able to afford things like vacations to go with my girls, instead of always saying, oh, mommy doesn't have money or mommy can't afford it. So really that's my why I wanted to get started in real estate. So that actually is the first step, is to know why you want to invest in real estate, and knowing really the pain that it would be if you didn't do it versus the pain that you would have if you got started. And for me, the pain of not investing in real estate was much greater than the pain of me finding out how to be successful, and doing everything that I did to become successful in real estate investing. So that's the number one thing, is to know why you're doing whatever goal that you want to do, and in this case it was real estate investing. So okay, so 5 years ago I happened to be having dinner with my brother-in-law, Peter Chung, who is the president of Outre Properties. These guys are award winners, for Real Estate Investment Network. They win all the top awards every single year for like 8 years in a row. They are winners of the Canadian Real Estate Wealth magazine for Interprovincial Investor of the Year. They are also winners with the Burnaby Board of Trade, right? So these guys are big-time real estate investors. And so I was fortunate enough that Peter Chung happens to be my brother-in-law, and I was having dinner with him one day, and I said, Peter, I'm working all these hours and I'm still working, making money, working paycheck to paycheck, basically living paycheck to paycheck. And what can I do? What can I do differently? Is there a better way for me to make money, because I am not doing it right now? And so he was kind enough to say to me, Teresa, why don't you work for me for a little while and see what I do, and see if it's something that you want to do as well. And so I took him up on his offer, and I started working for Outre Properties as their marketing manager, and I slowly transitioned into sales as well. And during the 2 years that I was working for him, I learned how to analyze properties. I learned where it was, the best areas to invest, where you're able to make a positive cash flow every month. I learned how to raise capital for construction of their major projects. I learned what it takes to become, an award winner. What does it really take to be able to win all these different accolades for, doing a great job at investing. I learned how to be a better public speaker, because there really wasn't anyone to do it except for me being the marketing manager. So, and I actually found that, initially I actually really sucked, just like anything else, right? And because I had to do it month after month, week after week, I launched all the big projects. I hosted their meetup, which is called Wealth Minds, every single month. And they had daily educational events, and so I spoke at those events as well. So after doing it for so many times, eventually from sucking big time, I got good at it, and I can honestly say that it's helped my career a lot in knowing how to speak in public. So that's another thing. But mostly, I found the most valuable with working at Alture Properties was I learned how to really help people to also invest in real estate, and how to change people's lives by educating them and getting them started, and how valuable that is to have that. I changed someone's life, right, for the better. And most importantly, though, I learned how to structure real estate joint ventures. So for people who don't know what joint ventures are, basically there's a money partner and a working partner in every joint venture. The money partner is responsible for getting the mortgage, having the money for the down payment, and if there's furniture involved, the furniture, and also responsible for all of the closing costs of acquiring a property. So being the money partner, they don't do any work, they only supply the money. Okay, and then on the working partner side, we have the property manager that manages the properties. Sometimes they find the deals, where to purchase to have that higher income, and they have the expertise that a lot of times they have like hundreds and thousands of hours of education on how to manage properties, how to acquire higher incomes, how to do things properly, so to eliminate or to alleviate some of those risks involved with real estate investing. So what you're actually buying is someone's time. So with the working partner, they do not supply any of the cash, but they supply what's called sweat equity. And so their time is what they are, and their time and their expertise is what they're offering in the joint venture. So being learning how to do joint ventures, I learned how to find the money partners and connect them with the working partners, and thereby kind of like sealing the deal, I was able to acquire part of the joint venture as an equity partner and share some of the profits and mortgage pay down and appreciation that's for those properties. And in my first year, I was able to acquire 7 doors. And 5 years later now, I have about 20 doors. So I would have to say that it was definitely a journey. It was not easy, so never believe that it's easy. But if you laser focus and you focus on the goal hard enough and the desire is strong enough, eventually you will get there. So my advice to you is, one is be clear on your why. Why are you investing in real estate? And what's the pain for you if you don't, and what's the pain for you if you do? So the risk and pain and reward is really important. It was more there was more rewards for me in investing in real estate than there was pain. But there was lots of pain for me if I didn't invest in real estate, because I would just be where I was, living paycheck to paycheck. So, knowing my why, knowing that, I want more for myself and my girls was amazing. Yeah, I can't say enough about knowing, why you're doing what you're doing. Number 2 is to interview as many successful real estate investors as you can. Even though Peter Chung is an amazing investor, I wanted more than one opinion. I wanted to know the tricks of the trade of, anyone that's successful in investing. So I interviewed so many people, but 2 of the the bigger players is Chance Lee of Platinum Properties and Thomas Beyer of Prestigious Properties. I mean, I took these guys out for coffee, and pay for the coffee, of course, right? And I really got deep into how they did it. What does it take? What kind of person do you have to become to be able to attract money, to be able to raise capital, to be trustworthy enough that people want to invest with you. So that was totally invaluable. So that's my number 2 advice to you, is to interview successful investors. Number 3 is to go to as many real estate investing workshops as you can. I mean, there's the RAIN, which is the Real Estate Investment Network. They're based out of Coquitlam. And then there's REAG, which is the Real Estate Action Group, which is based out of Vancouver. They meet once a month. There is Keyspire, which, you know, they have their annual memberships and all their various events. I find that, you know, the speakers there, you know, are amazing. And if you can't afford the larger real estate investment groups, then I highly suggest you go to the local meetups. There are so many out there, and they're, you know, $5 or $10 to attend, right? So really, it's so I find that the speakers are just as good, if not better, than, you know, some of the large investments groups. So and if you can, I mean, I was a seminar junkie for the past, you know, 5 years. I just couldn't take enough information, so I went to a lot of these events. I became member of RAIN. I was, you know, a Keyspire realtor. REAG, I also I went to a lot of their events as well as the local meetups, right? I learned something every single time. So that would be my 3rd advice to you, is to go to as many real estate investment workshops, network with the people, learn as much as you can, and it all, you know, will help you to become a successful investor. And the 4th piece of advice is that if you're really serious about becoming a full-time investor, I suggest that you work for a successful real estate investor. And, you know, whether it's for, you know, really cheap, whether it's for free, I can't tell you how valuable it was for me to get, you know, day to day, you know, what do they do to become successful. You know, there's so many things that I've learned that, you know, I listed out earlier, but working for a successful investor, you know, you're really going to know the ins and outs of how to invest in real estate, you know, what they do that works, what, you know, doesn't work, and, you know, you get to learn their mistakes too, so you don't make them for yourself. Because, you know, in real estate investing, you know, mistakes are costly, and, you know, sometimes, you know, I've known people that's lost a lot of money, right? So working with a successful real estate investor that has a proven track record of being successful and doing what, you know, you want to do is going to be one of the most valuable things that you can do to propel your career in real estate investing, if that's what you want to do. So just to recap on how to become a successful real estate investor is, 1 is to know your why. Having a strong why and, you know, having some goals is going to really help you get focused on what you need to do every day today to become a real estate successful investor. Number 2 is interview as many successful investors as you can, and pay for the meal, pay for the coffee, because, I mean, they're giving up their valuable time to help you, right? So there's, yeah, I won't go into it, but, you know, it is important to pay for them. And number 3 is to go to as many real estate investing workshops as you can. You're going to learn so much, and whatever money that you spent on it is going to be worthwhile, because you're not going to get that information from, you know, the computer, so or the internet. So, and lastly, if you're really serious about becoming, you know, a full-time real estate investor, or just becoming a successful investor, then, you know, I highly recommend that you work for a successful investor for a little while and help them, you know, create a win-win situation. It's not all about you, but, you know, it's about helping them achieve their goals, right? And by, you know, helping a successful investor, then, and learning from what they do, you will then become successful as well, because success does leave clues. So that's my recommendation to you. Thanks for tuning in today.